Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to do this makeup look. It's just a simple, really easy matte bronze cut crease. Before we start, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's get on with the video. As you can see, I've already done my eyebrows. To do my brows, I use the Foolproof Brow Powder from Benefit, and I also love to use my Spectrum A24 brush to do my brows. And then I normally put my NYX Control Freak Brow Gel on as well, but I don't have that on me today. But I like to use a clear brow gel because it brings out the more naturalness of your eyebrows. That's how, the reason I like to use it. Obviously it keeps your brow hairs in place, but I also love it because it brings back the naturalness. They don't look too fake. But they do look a little bit crazy dark, right now, but once all the makeup is done, it will look better. I then like to go in with my P. Louise base shade number 2, and I like to put that all over my lid and carve my brows out. Mine is actually in this little pot because the little tube that it came in actually broke. It ripped on the side, so it was all coming out everywhere. And I had an old glitter pot from the Gypsy Shrine, so this is why my P. Louise is in a little pot. Then to do this, I like to use my Spectrum A18 brush, which is just a flat brush. I'm also just going to prop my hair up a little bit. This is a clip that I got. This is from a small business called Honey and Dusty. I will leave a link to the hair clip in the bio. I've zoomed us in a little bit just so you can see a bit more clearly what I'm doing. But this is not technical at all, so don't panic or anything. This base is really good because it is super full coverage, but I do put a lot on and then I set it in place, but just watch and learn basically. So I firstly like to just put it on my lid a little bit first of all, just so I haven't got too much on my brush for doing underneath my brows. And then I just like to start from the inner part of my brow and then just slowly build it up basically. You can kind of see, you get the gist. So once I'm at this stage, I like to just take the same brush and pat it all over my eyelid, and it kind of just sets everything in place. And then I like to take a fluffy brush that I like to use the Spectrum Go 3 brush. You can kind of see what kind of brush it is here. And I like to use that just to blend out the edges, just so that if you were to lay a foundation over the top, it doesn't show any lines. And the same up here. Just very carefully blending basically. And then I also like to just pat it all over my eyelid because I feel like it really sets it in place and preps it really nicely for some shadow. So you can see kind of the difference now and how much of a difference putting a base on makes. But I'm going to be using the Nikkie Tutorials X Beauty Bay palette. This is one of my new favourites. I got this for Christmas, and the pigments, everything, I'm literally obsessed. But I'm going to be sticking with the shades Mila, 5 AM and Basic Truth. Literally 3 shades, 2 browns and 1 pale nude. This eyeshadow look can literally be achieved probably with any eyeshadow palette you have because it is super simple and it is just a matte bronzy cut crease. So don't worry if you're not using the exact eyeshadow palette that I am, because it really doesn't matter. And we'll be using not too many brushes either. Because I want this look to be kind of more of a natural look rather than a super pigmented look, I am going to use a fluffy brush straight away and blend it as soon as I put it on the eye because I don't want the colour build up to be too much. To do this, I'm going to be using my Spectrum B10 brush. It's just a small fluffy brush, and I'm going straight in with the shade 5 AM. I've zoomed this in again just so you can kind of see a bit more clearly what I'm actually doing. I'm just kind of going to start using circular motions straight away, and you can see the colour is starting to come on without being too crazy. Also sticking to the outer corner of my eye as well. So I just want to point out really quickly that on camera the shadows are going to look a lot darker. that's just how it is, unfortunately. But if you want to kind of see him like the right colour, then I will be doing TikToks of this makeup look, and I'll leave my TikTok in the description box so you can have a look at like what it kind of definitely looks like, because on camera I know it's going to look a little bit darker than it is. But yeah, I'm just going to build that up a little bit until I'm happy with how pigmented it is, and just keep doing the exact same thing. Okay, so now I'm happy with that colour build up. I'm going to actually just use the same brush, and I'm going to go in with the shade Mila, which is a warmer tone brown, and I'm going to blend it kind of over the top of what we've just done, but mainly like on the edges, just to soften it out a little bit and just to warm it up. Doing basically the exact same thing again, nothing different, just kind of over the top just to warm up the edges and blend it out nicer. Now that I'm happy with this, I'm going to take my Spectrum BO6 brush, which is just basically the same brush we've just used, just a larger one, and I'm just going to buff everything together to make sure that it's all blended nicely. And literally does not matter, like just blending it all really nicely so it matches, kind of like goes together. There's not like two shades, if that makes sense. And that's kind of it for now for the brown. So now it's time to cut our crease. And to cut our crease, we're going to be using the same brush we used for applying our P. Louise base, because I'm using the same product. Using our brush we used earlier, I am literally just going to pat on my eyelids, really kind of messy like that, and then I'm going to look up so I can see like, okay, I need to go at least that far up minimum. And I'm just going to kind of cut my crease like basically a little bit messy, but you don't want to be messy near like the line, because obviously you want that line to be so sharp. But you can keep looking up so you can make sure that you kind of know. And then I actually like to bring mine higher just because it just looks better. But basically just watch and try it out, and it's really not as hard as you think it is. It is so much easier than you think it is. Stop overthinking it, because you honestly don't need to. Just take your time, take it really slow, and you'll get there. And just remember that not everybody just did a cut crease perfect straight away. Like, it takes a lot of practice. Don't beat yourself up like the first time you try and do a cut crease, because it doesn't always go perfect. And even for me now, I have times where it still doesn't go like perfect. So just take your time, don't rush it, because the minute you rush it, the minute's game over. And then and just believe in yourself. But as you can see, I haven't really done anything this side with my eye, and that's because I'm going to actually have brown shadow over that, so it's not a problem. That's kind of just like messy because it's going to be blended anyway. And now obviously I want to set that in place, so I'm going to take the same brush we just used, but a clean version, so another flat brush. You can just clean the one that you've just used. To set this in place, I'm going to be using just a really creamy colour in the shade Basic Trud. And yeah, I'm just using a flat brush to set it in place. And I'm just going to pat that all over where we just cut our crease. But make sure you don't go over the lines, because it will just ruin like the crease effect. now I'm going to be taking a slightly different brush to one we've been using. It looks like this. This is the Spectrum A28 brush. You can see that it's kind of like not as fluffy. And I'm not going to put any product on straight away. I'm just going to blend out the edges really carefully, only up until about this point. You don't want to touch any of this because it will literally just ruin the whole like crease effect. You'll see now that there's kind of like a softer edge rather than like a really sharp one, because you still want it to be blended on this part, just not this part. And now going back to the first fluffy brush that we actually used, I'm going to go back in with the shade 5am, but again not a lot, and I'm just going to kind of slowly blend that around this edge. As you can see, it's now kind of blended. There's like the ombre effect and it's not too sharp, but the part that we want to have like the still sharp line is still there. Now I want to get a black eyeshadow to create a liner along my lash line. However, the NYX Tutorials X Beauty Bay palette doesn't actually have a black eyeshadow in it, so I am using this Steve Laurent palette. This is the Wild Thing palette. And this is what it looks like on the inside, and I'm just going to use this black shade. We're going to be using my Spectrum A17 brush, and I'm basically just going to use this as like a eyeliner, but I want it to be really thin, and I really don't want it to be blended out like smoky at all. You can see how it ties the whole like eyeshadow look together, and it'll just make it a lot easier as well when we're trying to put like lashes on and mascara and everything, because it will blend the lashes in really nicely, because there is now like the black line. I am going to go ahead off camera and do this eye, and then I'll be back for everything else. So guys, as you can see, I have now done both my eyes, and now it's time for lashes. For lashes, of course, as most of you know, I run my own business, so I'm going to be wearing my own business's lashes. And this, by the way, this isn't like the packaging that you guys will receive. This is just my packaging. But I'm going to be wearing them in the shade Fiji, and these are some of my ultimate faves. You can kind of see them here. They're super cute, and to stick them on I'm going to be using Duo Lash Glue, and I'm also going to be using just random tweezers, nothing special. But before you stick your lashes on, you need to curl them and pop some mascara on. So I have my eyelash colours here, and then I'm going to be using the Maybelline Sky High mascara. This is my new favourite. This was $9.99 I think, and my all-time favourite mascara has always been Too Faced Better Than Sex, and I gave this a go. Speechless, actually speechless at how amazing this mascara is. So if you haven't got your hands on this yet, it's definitely worth it, and it's literally like super cheap as well. But I'm going to go ahead and curl my lashes and put some mascara on, and then I'll come back to put some lashes on with you. You can already see like a slight difference of how lashes make a difference because now the mascara is on. But I'm just going to peel these off and pop some lash glue on. I get a lot of questions on TikTok on like, can you do a tutorial on how to stick eyelashes on? And I honestly still struggle myself sometimes. I've just put a thin layer of glue on and I'm going to let them dry. Yeah, I still struggle myself sometimes to stick lashes on, and I have to peel them off and stick them on again just because they haven't stuck on quite right. But one day I'll get it down to a T and I'll be able to do like a proper tutorial. But I don't know why, I just can never do it right first time sometimes. I'm hoping today is a good day because obviously I'm filming for you guys. But yeah, now I'm just going to give them a few minutes. Well, I normally leave about 10 seconds and then I stick them on. Okay, so I've zoomed us in so you can have a better close-up look, and I'm going to go ahead and stick my lashes on. And there you go, lashes on. Now I'll just do the other eye. And now you can see that the lashes are stuck on. I literally don't understand how lashes can make such a difference. Like, I feel like I never used to use them. I literally have only been able to stick on lashes for like a year and a bit. Like, it was not like Halloween, just gone Halloween before, I stuck some lashes on for the first time by myself ever, and I was so proud of it. And now, like, it's super easy. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, sometimes I have to just take them off and put them back on, but it's so like daunting, like, oh my god, I gotta stick my lashes on, but it's really not that bad, is it? But obviously I'm going to put some eyeshadow underneath my eyes, but I like to do my full face of makeup first, so let's get into face makeup. So as a makeup artist, I wish that I could like team up with somebody else, and kind of like they do the eye makeup and I do the face makeup, because I absolutely love to do base makeup, but eyeshadow for some reason stresses me out so much, hence why a lot of people say like, why don't you do your makeup more when you're live? And I will happily do my eyeshadow off a live, but as soon as I've done my eyeshadow, then I will go like live on TikTok and finish like my face. For some reason, eyeshadow just makes me really nervous, and I think it's just a confidence thing, and I just need to get more used to it, because I have only just over past like the past year, I've still been learning so much, and I'm still kind of feel like I'm not ready to like go live and do my full face of makeup. But anyways, for foundation, I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Long Wear Foundation, and mine is in the shade 150. And to apply my foundation, I actually like to use a mixture of a brush and a beauty blender. This is a actual beauty blender, and this is the Spectrum BO1 brush. This is my favourite combo for foundation. So with this foundation, it dries really quick, so I'm going to like talk to you whilst I do it. But I like to kind of use my brush in like a beauty blender way to get the most out of, like, make it like the most full coverage it can be, because I feel like that's the easiest way for it to stay as full coverage. I feel like as soon as you start getting the foundation and swishing it around your face like this, it's not going to be as full coverage anymore. But I'm just going to carry on with this motion. And when I use my brush, I don't worry about getting into like under my eyes, around my nose properly, because I know with the sponge I can achieve that. So this is really just to spread the makeup like all around my face. And you can see that it does go a lot further as well using this technique. I know I look a bit scary like an alien and it looks super pale, but now I'm just using my beauty blender to blend that in. I'm someone that would much rather have a light foundation and use things like bronzers to bronze it up, rather than have like an orange foundation that doesn't match, because I feel like it's much harder to achieve a good foundation that's too dark than when it's a little bit too light. But in all honesty, if you are to look at my neck and my foundation, like, it does match really nicely. It's super annoying because I feel like my face is way more tanned than my neck, but if I was to get one that matches my face, it would just not go well at all, and it would just be completely orange. Now that I have blended my foundation, it's time for concealer, and of course, as you all know, my favourite concealer is Tarte Shape Tape. I literally could not live without this, and mine is in the shade 22N Light Neutral. I do feel this matches with foundation on, but I have tried it without like foundation on just to line my brows, and I do feel like it's got too much of a yellowy undertone, but with my foundation it kind of like works fine. But I like to do like the facelift kind of vibe with concealer. I really don't like when people do massive triangles because it literally pulls your face down, whereas when you try and you kind of use it kind of a bit like more like this. You can see like with concealer, once it's blended out, how much of a difference it makes where you actually apply the concealer. And I also like to use a brush and a beauty blender for this. I like to use my Spectrum A29 brush, and it's just kind of like a flat brush. And I find it easier to use a brush to kind of move the product, if that makes sense. And then I will use my beauty blender afterwards to kind of like actually push the product into the foundation. And we're all blended in, and I like to do this straight away because I feel like otherwise it doesn't work. I'm using my Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm taking my Juno & Co microfiber sponge, and just where I blended in my concealer underneath my eyes, I'm going to set it straight away so it can't crease. And then using my Spectrum A30 brush, it's just kind of like a big fluffy brush. I just like to wipe any like excess powder away from underneath my eyes, because I love my makeup to be really like glowy. I'm not a fan of matte. It's funny because I have like a matte foundation, but I really dislike having like super powdery makeup. I'm now just going to take my Spectrum CO3 brush. This has literally no product on it. It's totally clean. And I'm literally just patting that all over my face for no particular reason other than just to make sure that my foundation is set in place for when I put my bronzer and blusher and everything on. But this is like a totally clean brush. I'm literally just patting everything like down. For bronzer, of course, you can't go wrong with Hoola. This is actually the Hoola Mini, and I've had this for so long and just hit pan, and it's so annoying. But for this, I'm using my BH Cosmetics brush, and this is like brush number 3. This has always been my favourite brush to use for bronzer. So yeah. I also like to start with my forehead because I feel like if I've got too much product on, I can kind of blend it away easier on my forehead than I can on my cheekbones. But yeah. Sometimes I will also use a cream, like a concealer in a darker shade, but today I decided that I just want some bronzer. Now it's time for blush, and I'm going to be using the Tarte Amazonia Clay 12-hour blush in the shade Quirky. And for this, the brush I'm going to be using is the Spectrum A05 brush. It's just like an angled cheek brush. And this blush is so nice. I like a dark blush because it kind of like ties in with the whole like, yeah. And then for highlighter, I just couldn't see it then, I'm using my Ofra X Nikki Tutorials collab, and this is the highlighter in the shade Glazed Donut. This highlighter is like actually out of this world. And for this, my favourite brush to use is the Sigma High Cheekbone Highlighter. It's FO3. And I will just show you where I put it, but like literally one swipe and it is actually blinding. Like, this is literally crazy. Like, you barely need to put any on and you literally glow in for days. And then to keep everything blended together, I like to use my Spectrum BO2 brush, and I like to just kind of pat everything together so it's kind of like fluid and it doesn't look like there's like a bunch of different products on my face. Okay, so now I'm going to do my eyeshadow underneath my eyes, and I'm just going to kind of use a mixture of the two browns that we've been using this whole time. And I'm going to be taking my Spectrum A28 brush, which is just kind of like a flat brush that's still a little bit fluffy, and I'm just zooming us in as well so you can kind of get the vibe on like what we're doing. But again, like I did before, I want everything to be kind of more neutral and natural than like boom, like colour in your face. So I'm just gonna start blending it out straight away as soon as I put the colour on my lid. Now I'm taking a really small fluffy brush and I'm just going to blend that out basically. Now in my waterline I'm going to take a black pencil eyeliner. This is my Kiko Milano one and it's like in the darkest black they do. And I'm just going to put that in my waterline. Also going to apply some mascara to my bottom lashes. Everything is almost finished, but I'm going to do my lips now, and I'm going to use the long lasting liquid lipstick by Ofra in the shade Charmed. And now that's dry, I'm going to just use a random clear gloss that I have and pop that over the top. That is everything. So now I'm going to let my hair down again. Oh, it's caught in the clip. And that is the finished look. What do you guys think? I hope you guys have learned something new watching this video, and I would love to see your guys' recreations. So don't forget to tag me in like if you watch this and recreate this makeup look. And if you guys want to know anything else, then don't forget to leave that in the comments. I will happily answer. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a massive thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if you have any more questions and what other videos you guys would like to see. I'll see you next time. Bye!